Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss the poem The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. This poem describes the poet's encounter with a solitary highland girl reaping and singing by herself. It focuses on the impact of her song on the speaker, emphasizing the emotional depth that can be found in simple, natural scenes. The poem also highlights the universal language of music and its ability to convey emotion across barriers of language and culture. Stanza 1. Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here, or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. Analysis. In the first stanza of The Solitary Reaper, William Wordsworth vividly captures the solitary figure of a highland girl working in the fields, her presence magnified by the expansive natural setting around her. The imperative, behold, immediately draws the reader's attention to this solitary figure, emphasizing her isolation and the singularity of the scene. As she reaps and binds the grain, her actions are depicted not just as labor but as poignant blend of work and art, underscored by her melancholic song that fills the valley. The juxtaposition of her solitary task with the communal nature of her song, which overflows the valley, highlights a deep emotional resonance that her song imparts on the landscape. Wordsworth's call is either stop here or gently pass, serves as an invitation to the reader to pause and appreciate this scene, or to move on without disturbing its beauty, suggesting a moment of contemplative stillness that is both intimate and expansive. The stanza encapsulates a moment where human endeavor, natural beauty, and emotional expression converge, creating a scene of profound poetic inspiration. Stanza 2. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands and travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides. In the second stanza of The Solitary Reaper, Wordsworth intensifies the portrayal of the Highland Girl's song by comparing it to some of the most poetically exalted bird songs in literature and nature. He begins by suggesting that not even the nightingale, a symbol traditionally associated with melodious and emotive singing, has ever produced a sound more welcome. This welcome is specifically directed at weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands, invoking the image of travellers in desperate need of relief and solace in a harsh, exotic landscape. Wordsworth then extends this comparison to the call of the cuckoo, heralding the arrival of spring, a sound so celebrated for its sweetness and the joy it brings at winter's end. However, her song surpasses even this, echoing through the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides, suggesting that her voice has a reach and impact that transcends vast and remote spaces, breaking silence and bringing life. Through these comparisons, Wordsworth elevates the reaper's song beyond the mere act of singing into a universal symbol of comfort and awe-inspiring beauty, transcending cultural and geographical boundaries to touch something fundamentally human and profound. Stanza 3. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far-off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and maybe again? Analysis. In the third stanza of The Solitary Reaper, Wordsworth explores the enigmatic content of the Highland Girl's song, expressing a keen desire to understand the specifics of her melancholic melody. His questioning, "Will no one tell me what she sings?" highlights his distance from her experience, both culturally and linguistically, and underscores his role as an observer who is moved by the song's emotion, but isolated from its specific narrative. He speculates that the song might recount old, unhappy, far-off things and battles long ago, suggesting themes of historical sorrow and loss that resonate through time. This possibility aligns the song with epic tales of the distant past that carry universal themes of human struggle and tragedy. Alternatively, he considers that her song could be some more humble lay, dealing with everyday sorrows, personal losses, and pains that are part of the human condition, recurring and relatable. This stanza deepens the emotional landscape of the poem, presenting the song as a bridge between the personal and the universal, and reflecting Wordsworth's romantic belief in the deep, emotive power of poetry and music to convey profound truths about human existence, regardless of the specifics of language or story. Stanza 4. Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. I listened, motionless and still. And as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. Analysis. In the concluding stanza of The Solitary Reaper, Wordsworth reflects on the lasting impact of the Highland Girl's song, underscoring its profound effect on him regardless of its specific content. The stanza begins with an acceptance of the mystery surrounding the song's theme, emphasizing that its emotional resonance transcends its lyrical narrative. Wordsworth paints a vivid picture of the girl as she continues to sing, as if her song could have no ending, a metaphor suggesting the timeless, eternal quality of her music and its deep emotional pull. The description of her bending over her sickle while singing combines imagery of labor with artistic creation, illustrating the seamless integration of beauty and everyday work. Wordsworth's own reaction is deeply personal and reflective. He describes himself as motionless and still, completely absorbed by the music. This stillness indicates a moment of transcendence or spiritual communion with the song. As he moves away, climbing up the hill, he carries the music with him in his heart, indicating that the song leaves a lasting emotional imprint that continues to resonate with him long after it was heard no more. This enduring effect of the song symbolizes the universal power of art and beauty to move and transform an individual, a core theme of Wordsworth's romantic philosophy. This stanza not only closes the poem but also encapsulates the essence of the emotional and introspective journey that Wordsworth often portrays in his poetry, highlighting the transformative power of simple, profound beauty encountered unexpectedly. Critical analysis, theme and message. The universal power of music. Wordsworth illustrates music's ability to transcend language barriers and evoke a deep emotional response. The girl's song, though its words are unknown to the speaker, deeply affects him, highlighting music's universal appeal and its power to connect humans across different cultures and experiences. Isolation and connection. The reaper's isolation in the field contrasts with the way her song connects with the observer. This juxtaposition raises questions about the nature of solitude and community, suggesting that one can be physically alone yet emotionally or spiritually connected to others through art. Transience and permanence. The ephemeral nature of the song, heard only for a brief moment but remembered long afterward, reflects romantic themes of the fleeting nature of beauty and the lasting impact of emotional experiences. Wordsworth suggests that while moments themselves are transient, their emotional and spiritual impacts can be enduring. Imagery and language. Wordsworth employs rich imagery and careful language choices to evoke the setting and the emotions associated with the song. Descriptions like overflowing with the sound and the sickle bending blend the natural landscape with human activity, creating a vivid tableau that enhances the poem's thematic depth. The comparison of the reaper's song to the nightingale and the cuckoo situates it within a traditional poetic context, elevating its significance and beauty. Structure and form. The poem is structured as a ballad, a form traditionally used for storytelling and musical verse, which is fitting given the poem's focus on a song. The 4 8-line stanzas, each with an A-B-C-C-D-D rhyme scheme, are tightly woven with a rhythmic quality that mirrors the musical theme of the poem. Tone and mood. The tone of the poem is one of awe and reverence, with a touch of melancholy. Wordsworth's use of terms like melancholy strain and references to old, unhappy, far-off things suggest a sense of wistful longing or sadness, which adds depth to the otherwise serene and beautiful scene. The mood is contemplative, inviting the reader to reflect on the nature of beauty, memory, and emotional resonance. Philosophical and emotional depth. Wordsworth's poem does more than merely describe a scene. It invites the reader to think about how beauty and art function in our lives. It raises questions about the source of emotional power in art. Is it the understanding of the art's specific content, or in its broader emotional and aesthetic appeal? The poem suggests that the impact of beauty and art lies in their ability to resonate on a personal, emotional level, transcending specific details. Comparison with other poems. Ode to a Nightingale by John Keats. Similarities. Both poems use nature and specifically birdsong as central symbols. Keats's Nightingale and Wordsworth's Highlandlass both sing transcendent songs that provide a profound emotional experience for the speaker. Each poem explores themes of transcendence and the contrast between the fleeting nature of human life and the seemingly external nature of the song. Differences. Keats's poem delves deeply into the personal and existential, reflecting on the pain of human suffering and the desire for escape through the immortal song of the nightingale. Wordsworth's focus is more on the scene's cultural and natural elements, emphasizing the beauty and simplicity of the reaper's song without the existential angst present in Keats's reflection. Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Similarities. Both poems explore themes of isolation and connection. Wordsworth shows a solitary figure whose song connects deeply with the observer, while Frost discusses physical and metaphorical barriers between neighbors. Differences. Wordsworth uses the solitary figure to celebrate the unifying power of art and nature, whereas Frost questions the necessity and impact of barriers in human relationships, offering a more ambiguous take on the values of tradition and separation. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Similarities. Both poems feature a solitary observer encountering a tranquil, natural scene that prompts deep reflection. The settings in both Wordsworth's Scottish Highlands and Frost's Snowy Woods serve as backdrops of these introspective moments. The theme of solitude in nature as a space for emotional and poetic inspiration is central to both works. Differences. Frost's poem is more introspective and subtle, capturing the allure of the woods and the pull of obligations through the quiet contemplation of the speaker. Wordsworth's poem, however, is more about the outward expression of emotion and beauty through the reaper's song, which is more overtly impactful and memorable. Conclusion. These comparisons show how different poets handle themes of nature, solitude, and human emotions. While Wordsworth, Keats, and Frost all write from a deeply personal perspective, their treatment of nature and solitude varies deeply in focus and emotional tone. Wordsworth celebrates the straightforward beauty and emotional power of a natural scene. Keats delves into the personal and existential, and Frost offers a more contemplative and ambiguous reflection on human connections and responsibilities. These differences highlight the diverse approaches within poetry to exploring the human condition through the natural world. So this was the discussion on the poem The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. We will meet in the next video and discuss some other poem. Until then, goodbye and thank you.